This video is of a trip that I did last year to California. I did it on a Harley Street Bob, which I rented from Riders Share, which is a brilliant company. I flew in at LA and I rode north. First of all, I took the route Pacific Highway Coast, 101, and then I sort of went off because I didn't really enjoy that. So when I was north of San Francisco, I headed east towards Sacramento, and then I carried on east. I did a bit of Route 66. I went into Nevada a little as well. I visited Jamestown, which is the first place in America that they found gold, which was a really beautiful place. I went into the lakes and the mountains and the dusty dairy plains, and I did, normal things as well. Big Sur, Yosemite, Stanislaus, whatever you call it, Indian reservation land, and that was the most beautiful. So, and then I went, and then from Nevada I went through Death Valley and came back, joined at Riverside, and then back to LA. Trip took me 2 weeks and it was phenomenal. This one is difficult to know. I was going to say how to start, but actually it's going to be a difficult one to do because I've already started to try to do it, and then I thought I've left myself really vulnerable. But I can't do it unless I do leave myself vulnerable, so here I go. I made this trip to California a year ago now, and sitting in the cold and frost outside of Devon seems a long way away. A couple of years ago, something utterly terrifying happened to me. I'm not easily scared or terrified, and I thought I was going to die, and it wasn't a little thing. Traumatised me so much, didn't it, Puff? Come on. That I was diagnosed with PTSD, so I was trying to cope with this total change in my personality, really. Just practical things like I would be having flashbacks, I'd have to leave a situation, something like this, because I knew that I was going to be crying, and I hate crying, really hate. And I know crying is really good for you, but I hate it, because for me, it feels like a sign of weakness. Anyway, I can talk more about PTSD another time. I'd become this sort of vulnerable, sad person that I didn't want to be. I decided to go away. I wanted to go away far. I wanted to do something that was going to really challenge
I'm
me.
in Motel 6 in Monterey. They're not very nice, but they're really expensive, which is weird. I know it's because it's bank holiday weekend, which they call Labour Day weekend or something. Anyway, I've done loads of riding. Should I show you my bike?
And then I went to LA, utterly terrified, not myself at all. Walked in through the hotel doors, saying, I could go home, I don't need to stay here. It's frightening. I don't know where I am. It's a massive, huge, great big place that I've never been to before, and I don't know anyone, and I'm all on my own, and you know, this awful things happen to me, so of course I felt vulnerable anyway. And I remember just kept looking around at the door thinking, it's fine, calm down, you can just go, just stay here the night, book another flight and go tomorrow. The moment that I got on that bike and rode off, I felt then, as soon as I started up the engine, I thought, oh, this is it. It was so lovely, and I was really challenging myself. And every day that went on, I became more and more myself. At the end of the journey, when I returned to the same hotel. I'll explain about the whole thing anyway, the whole trip, but I returned to the same hotel, and I was a totally different person walking in through those hotel doors that I had been 2 weeks before. 2 weeks before I was frightened, mousy, just, you know, Mr. Jelly. And 2 weeks later I walked in confidently, and I knew that I'd achieved this brilliant thing, because it did feel brilliant. I had been all around the state of California. I'd been totally self-sufficient. I'd looked after myself. I had this regained confidence, and I felt like a totally different person. It really worked. Hardly speaking to anyone. Exploring, you know, as I like to do, rural places.
I'm not like this with any other boy. I like a man to be a man.
This is the map of California. Study closely. And this is the route that I took.
My cup.
This is when I got to the other side of Stanislaus National Forest, which has been a Native American settlement for over 2,000 years. This, I can't remember where it was, but it was so hot and I just took a break. And this is Jamestown, which is a truly incredible place to visit. The bike I rented was a Harley Street Bob, and I loved it. So when I was there, it was a heat wave, even for California. About 46 degrees Celsius, which is really, really, really hot. And even over there, they were saying, this is really unusual for us, you know? Riding along on the motorbike, and so many of the places that I went to, you know, en route, I couldn't find any shade, so I'd be riding really, really, really hot. I got a range tan mark, so it was way too hot to wear my jacket. I had my jacket on the back of the bike between my bags and things. I had bare arms, and lots of times I was just wearing a sort of bodysuit which rode up a little bit at the back, so I had these sort of odd tan marks there, and a tanned face and these tanned arms, so when I got back I looked a bit odd. But over there, after about every half an hour, I'd want to stop because it was so hot. Find any tiny bit of shade that I could and just stand there, and I'd be going as if I'd been running really, really fast or something, because the heat was so exhausting.
She says there's nothing here for me at all. Yet you kiss and tell, and maybe in the morning you're alone. Baby, I want these roads.
To Death Valley, Harley Davidson, really, really enjoyed that. I went to Harley Davidson and Riverside as well. And that was a massive place, loads and loads of bikes there.
Trying to break these codes. Carry out here, I'm not alone. You by my side, I'm the cloak of night. I hope and believe we can make it right. Backs against the wall, we can only try. Need you here, he said to me. Your strength out there, good men free. I need you.
I did take some videos, but I put the GoPro, I mean, I didn't bring anything sensible to put it on, so I just sort of tied it with a bit of lace to the front of the bike and then it kept going. So when I got back, most of the film that I'd taken, the video footage, was of bottoms of fences and just the road.
They say good will be rewarded, but it's night out here, darkest night. There is no good, and might is right.
But then I kept losing GPS, so I had no idea where I was going. But it's easy, you just follow that sort of route, you know, the signposts are everywhere. So I was going along there, I could see the sea, and I thought, oh gosh, look, that's lovely how I can see the sea. And then a bit further on, oh look, there's the sea again. And then there were all these like vista stops. But then it was September, there were lots of people around, and there were all these camper vans, you know, parked in the vista spots, and I thought they'd all stop.
I'm not alone. You by my side, I'm the cloak of night. I hope and believe we can make it right. Backs against the wall, we can only try. Need you here, he said to me. Your strength out there.
After a while on Route 1 101, I thought, I don't want to do this. I don't, you know, I did it for a while to Big Sur and that sort of stuff, which was, you know, beautiful. But then again, lots of people, and that's not really my thing. So I thought, well, I'll just cut off. And because I was using GPS all the time, I didn't even know then that I could download maps when I was online and then follow them afterwards. I'm sounding really disorganised, but I was. And that was the thing. I was sort of, you know, doing it impulsively, spontaneously, without planning. And I really enjoyed that about it. This is up in the lakes, Convict Lake, Lake Mary, Mammoth Lake. I was hoping to see bears, but I didn't. Then, that's when I started ending up in really, really beautiful places. And that's when I began to really enjoy myself.
They say good will be rewarded, but it's night out here, darkest night. There is no good, and might is right. They
I rode through Death Valley, so I did a tiny bit of Nevada. When I knew that I had to go through Death Valley, it was so hot anyway, and I knew it was going to be hotter, so I started at 4 in the morning, which is really unusual for me, really lovely. So I rode for a few hours, and first of all it was dark obviously, and then I saw the sun coming up in the desert, and that was so beautiful to see this red sun on the rocks. This is me in Death Valley. I stopped once it was light and took a video. The funny thing about going everywhere on your own is that you've got nobody to take photos of you or videos or anything else, so most of the things that I did, you know, most of the footage that I've got were selfies. I mean, I had some really, really mad adventures. So that was my trip. About the PTSD, you can never get away from that. It's going to be always with you. But whilst in California for 2 weeks, on the motorbike with this absolute freedom of mind and body, mental and physical, I didn't suffer from it at all. I wasn't having flashbacks. I wasn't crying. Whilst there, it was the best medicine I could have had. And it was such a brilliant time that I really want to go back again. And I will.